Good evening. Welcome to this edition of Northeast Diary. Here we bring you the latest developments from India's unexplored Northeast region. Friends, the Northeast region is known for its unique arts and craft. We will go over to Sikkim and learn about bamboo-based crafts business. We would also head over to Mizoram and take a look at the art and craft work over there. Bamboo is an integral part of the cultural, social and economic tradition of Sikkim. Besides government efforts to uphold this tradition, many individuals and organizations are taking initiatives to take the bamboo-based crafts business forward. Our Sikkim correspondent Namo Dikshit tells us more.
West Sikkim-based Kichupiri Bamboo House, which is operated by a young bamboo and wooden craft entrepreneur, Indrakari Limbu, has been producing as well as promoting bamboo crafts. The organization recently launched a certificate course training in bamboo craft making, which would conclude in the last week of this month. The skill development program is supported by the Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change and the Sikkim State Council of Science and Technology. It initially focuses on making bamboo mugs, flasks and trays before imparting skills on furniture making. Mr. Limbu says the objective and detail of the skill development program.
Many housewives, unemployed youth and dropout students in local variety देके under the banner of Green Skill Development Program का ये बैनर में तालीम हो रहा है. ज़्यादा हम लोग ने इसमें बैम्बो फ्लास्क, बैम्बो बोतल और इसमें बैम्बो स्पून, बैम्बो फॉर्क और इसमें बैम्बो ग्लास और बैम्बो ट्रे जो भी अभी ट्रेनिंग चल रहा है इसमें हम लोग फोकस करके जितना भी ट्रेनर्स है उन लोग का हम ये सिखा रहा है. अभी हाई टेक्नोलॉजी मशीन्स जैसे वुड लेथ मशीन इसका नॉलेज हम लोग प्रोवाइड कर रहा है. उन लोग थोड़ा हाई क्लास का ट्रेनिंग भी हम लोग प्रोवाइड कर रहा है उन लोग को.
While such skill development initiatives would help promote self-employment generating ventures, bamboo is a good substitute for plastics and steel and also an ecologically sustainable raw material as various inputs, especially in the context of Sikkim's eco-sensitive environment. With Saikat Sarkar, this is Namo Dikshit for Northeast Diary for AIR News Sikkim.
The arts and craft work of Mizoram is well acclaimed in and outside the state. Many people better know about Mizo art and craft work only for distinctive bamboo and cane works, basketry and handloom. The state is also carving a niche in the art of painting too. We have a report from our correspondent from Aizawl.
Mizoram has numerous painters, many of whom have received national recognition. Recently, the state has got 2 masters in sculpture, which is regarded as a big development in the forum of artists. Mizoram Art Development Society (MADS) has a key role for the overall development of the state's artists, particularly in the area of holding exhibition, workshop training and in promoting talent and exposure in other states. Recently, Mizoram Art Development Society has organized a 4-day workshop at Aizawl. Total of 51 artists participated in that workshop held at the Art Novelty Gallery, which is also owned by a young and renowned artist, Ms. Lalming Moi. Given the current situation, especially amid the COVID situation, artists' works have also been halted like many. However, hope of the silver line has been peeped into the horizon. Talking to AIR News, Ms. Lalming Moi said,
in spite of the COVID-19 crisis, altogether 51 artists across Mizoram are able to attend this workshop. The artists face a lot of problems like everyone else around the world, but we hope there will be a better day for all of us. So let this phase of pandemic pass us soon.
She also said that whenever an artist takes part in national or international exhibition, the Mizoram Art Development Society provides full support. Mizoram Information and Public Relations Department also extends continuous support to the artists, even in organizing workshops, exhibitions and competitions.
The aims of the society is to create a community of young and senior artists in art, that is painting and sculpture, and to provide and encourage opportunities for members to meet, socialize, share ideas, We also have our annual calendar that which we followed, like different types of art exhibitions, solo exhibitions, that is solo exhibition, duet, and group exhibitions. And also art workshop and outdoor study where members of all the artist members from different parts of Mizoram came together in one platform where we get financial support from the state government.
According to Lelming Moi, in the recent workshop, the young artists not only discussed and practiced the conventional forms of their creativity but also tried over the add-on forms, matrix, colors and emerging aspects of life. In the workshop, Lelming Moi, also known as Moi, painted a portrait of Aung San Suu Kyi to show her support for the freedom and democracy in Myanmar. For Northeast Diary, this is Irene from Aizawl.
Naga conservationist Nuklu Phom, who has extensively worked at the grassroots level for the last 15 years, has been shortlisted for the prestigious Whitley Awards 2021 for establishing a biodiversity peace corridor. He and Bibhuti Lahakar from Assam, who is being shortlisted for building bridges between people and Asian elephants, are among the top 15 candidates and the only two Indians in the list. They were selected from among 106 applicants of high standard, representing diverse approaches across a broad range of countries, habitats and species. However, to achieve this commendable feat, it has taken a lot of toil, hard work and dedication. Our Kohima correspondent has filed this report.
Nukluk Phom, who hails from Yongdimchung village under Longland district of Nagaland, has passionately worked for the cause of wildlife for over a decade. A very significant thing he did in his village some 10 years ago was making the entire village jurisdictions as restricted area, whereas when people talk about conservation, they generally have a restricted forest area with hunting banned in that particular area. Talking about his experience, he says,
"While my name has been shortlisted among the 15, there are still many procedures and formalities to be done. In fact, working on this venture was almost like doing a research work. You cannot exaggerate. When you write, you need to articulate and qualify with proofs. And based on this, you need to present a very clear vision of what you wish to achieve. The main cradle of the concept presented to Whitley is the biodiversity peace corridor. While peace between person to person, between tribes and nations are becoming very fragile, and we must all work together establishing peace. The biggest human design threat is the depleting ecosystem. We have misused, overused the biodiversity, and in return, environment has turned so harsh upon us. The climate, the water system, the livelihood security has become a huge issue, and with this trend, in few years' time, we will not be breathing oxygen, but maybe artificially designed oxygen, if not carbon dioxide. Therefore, the message is to be convicted to give back today, so that we receive for our own survival. Thus, biodiversity peace corridor is to bring different communities together, get engaged in safeguarding the biodiversity, create sustainable use of resources, give safe asylum to wild species, and not just organize programs on environment protection, but radically get engaged towards regeneration of floral and faunal species. This is the message of the Biodiversity Peace Corridor.
The winners of this year's Whitley Awards will be announced on May 12, 2021. For Northeast Diary, this is Asonyo from AIR News, Kohima.
Next year, August 15th, will mark the 75th year of India's independence from British rule, and to celebrate this milestone, the country is conducting a series of programs and events to mark the occasion. The event, Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, is centered on India's freedom struggle, ideas, achievements, actions and resolution in 75 years. The programs lined up will focus on high points of social, cultural, scientific and technological aspects in the country's post-independence journey. Our Shillong correspondent tells us how Meghalaya is celebrating Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav.
Like the rest of the country, Meghalaya too joined the celebration of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, India at 75 in a grand manner. The state government with the Department of Art and Culture, in collaboration with the Indian Council for Cultural Relations, held a program at Raj Bhavan where the governor of Meghalaya, along with a number of politicians, attended. The celebration witnessed a series of cultural events depicting the freedom fighters of the state who opposed the British rule. The Regional Outreach Bureau Shillong also organized a 5-day-long photo exhibition on Azadi Ka Amrut Mahotsav, celebrating 75 years of India's independence at the State Convention Center. The exhibition was inaugurated by the Governor of Meghalaya, Sri Satyapal Malik. Students from different schools attended the photo exhibition, which illustrated the famous Dandi March and other works of the freedom fighters of yesteryears. The Governor expressed his gratitude towards the freedom fighters who have sacrificed their lives selflessly for the freedom of our country. The Governor also highlighted the contribution made specially by Mahatma Gandhi's Satyagraha and Ahimsa, Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, who formed the Azad Hind government in exile and revived the Indian National Army, and Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, who successfully integrated the new independent nation. Syed Mubashir Iman, a student of B.K. Bazoria School, shared his views about the photo exhibition and the freedom fighters.
The only thing I would like to say is the freedom fighters have fought a lot and their legacy has been forgotten. Schools teach a lot about the history of India, but when we see our elders, they just seem to care about it. And I would like to send a message to my friends, to my classmates, to my schoolmates, that please remember them. They have fought a lot for us. We must acknowledge their fighting, though they are not anymore here with us, but they still have done a lot of things for us. The freedom struggle has been a great one. I don't have to say it, how great it was, how hard it was. Because of them, that today we are now living a comfortable life, free life indeed.
The younger generations indeed need to learn and appreciate the contributions of the freedom fighters towards nation building. This is Rustam for Northeast Diary from AIR News Shillong.
In Tripura, the Border Security Force BSF has organized a friendly football match with their counterpart Border Guard of Bangladesh BGB to mark the celebration of 50 years of Bangladesh's independence at Belonia in South Tripura district today. The first match being played today in Tripura. A football series is going to be organized as part of the ongoing celebration of 50 years of the 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War, in which BSF played a key role in the attainment of independence. Our Agartala correspondent Reena has filed a report on this.
The BSF has initiated to organize the BSF BGB Maitri football match series in all 6 frontiers of Eastern Command BSF during the coming months, of which the first match has been played today in Tripura. Inspector General BSF Frontier Tripura Mr. Susanta Kumar Nath said the football series are being organized to mark the 50th year of independence of Bangladesh, as well as to highlight the contribution made by Border Security Force in 1971 Bangladesh Liberation War. The IG said,
BSF BGB Maitri football match series are now going to be organized in all the 6 frontiers of Eastern Command BSF. The purpose of organizing all such friendly sports events is to enhance cooperation and goodwill between the 2 border guarding forces, that is BSF and BGB, and also to increase the friendly relationship between the people residing on the border areas.
As part of the celebration, Maitri cycle rallies were also organized all along the border roads under the Eastern Command of BSF. The IG said relations between India's BSF and Bangladesh BGB have seen a significant improvement owing to such collaborative programs. The IG also informed that the long-standing impasse over erecting a single row fencing in selected areas along the Indo-Bangla international border has also reached an amicable solution. For Northeast Diary, this is Serena Nomaitem from Magatala.
Kachar district in southern part of Assam has created a world record by creating the longest street art for voter awareness on a road which is stretched about 8.1 kilometers. Here is more from our Silchar correspondent.
With the rise of sun on the last Sunday, around 1,500 people reached Silchar Guwahati Mahasarak in a bid to make the day historic. By the end of the day, they became successful in creating a world record for making the longest rangoli for voter awareness. Created under the leadership of Kachar District Administration, this rangoli measured over 8 km in length and 6 feet in width. The program was organized under Systematic Voter Education and Electronic Participation (SWEEP) The representative from India Book of Records monitored the whole process and handed over the certificate of record to the district administration. Hundreds of students, SRG women, the tea garden workers, police officers, paramilitary personnel and others volunteered their services in this inclusive exercise. Earlier, the record of the largest Rangoli on voter awareness theme was in the name of Krishna District Administration of Andhra Pradesh. For Northeast Diary, this is Ritesh Pathak, AIR News, Silchar.
This week, we bring you an interview with Wangtam Humcha Lowang, a postgraduate student in Arunachal Pradesh, who is doing a commendable job by running a digital library in order to create awareness about the history and culture of the Nokte tribe. It may be mentioned that the Nokte tribes do not have their own script and thus lack written literature. He is running the website on his own without any help.
Arunachal Pradesh has 26 major tribes and over hundreds of tribes having their own distinct culture, dialect and traditions. But almost all these tribes doesn't have their own script, which leads to lack of written literature. And Nokte tribe of Arunachal Pradesh is one of these. But efforts to preserve this cultural identity in written forms are being made at various levels and many individually. Today we have got with us Mr. Wangtam Humcha Lowang, a postgraduate student in political science, who is running a website and a digital library containing all the information about the Nokte tribe, and he is running it on his own. So welcome, Mr. Lowang.
Thank you, sir.
First of all, Mr. Lowang, what is Nokte Digital Library?
Nokte Digital Library, also known as Electronic Library or Online Library, is a collection of more than 10 books, 15 reference articles, and at least 30 historical documents. And all of it is downloadable in the PDF format, sir. So all of the contents of the digital library is about the history and culture of the Nokte tribe. And all of the articles, books is authored by foreign non-Noktian and Noktian writers. And then, sir, in the digital library, the oldest book is in Romanized Noktian language. It was printed in 1840 AD and was written by Mrs. Ruth M. Bronson, the wife of American Baptist missionary Miles Bronson.
Okay.
The book is actually a translation of Worcester's primer and was given the title Natahe Herang Kapanwa Nyabrang, which means the first book for children's learning. So through this book, Mrs. Bronson hoped to teach the Nokte people how to read and write in Nokte language, in English language. So there is 5 shelves. I've divided the library in 5 shelves. Shelf A, where one can find books written on the Nokte tribe by foreign authors. It includes both grammar, dialect, history, culture, and all that. And in Shelf B, there are books written on the Nokte tribe by the Nokte authors only. It also contains like everything from dialect, culture, and history. So it's all jumbled up. Nothing is like, not only one type of content is there in library.
Okay. And what is the purpose of setting up this library? What initiated you to do so?
Okay, sir. In the medieval history books, such as Ahom Chronicles or Buranjis and the British documents, the Nokte people were known as Namsangya, Boduaria, Panidiora, and in general, Noga or Naga people. So one day I googled the above terms, that is Namsangya, Boduaria, and I was surprised to see the number of informations available in the internet, especially the Google books. But the informations were enough. It was plenty, but all of them were scattered here and there. So then I felt that such information should be kept together and concentrated. And for this reason, I created this digital library.
In which language actually these articles are published? Only in English or?
All in English, sir.
Okay.
And also in Nokte language, in Romanized Nokte language.
So basically, whom have you targeted by setting up this library?
First of all, it is actually for my people only, so that they can read the history and culture of our tribe. And also, it is for those anthropologists that come to our place to know about our tribe, so that they don't have to wander here and there to know about our tribe. They can just come to this digital library and they can find almost 70% of the facts they are trying to search. So it's like a one-stop station for them. That's what I'm trying to do.
Okay, what is this library? A website or what is this?
It is a part of website, a page of my noctedigest.com. There's this digital library section.
It is your website?
Yes, sir. Yes. Inside there is a page. One of the pages is this digital library.
Okay. How you sustain this web page, your website?
As of now, it's coming out of my pocket only. Like, I'm investing it here fully. No return, nothing. Just a charity work, we can say.
Okay. So any kind of assurance from the district administration or government side?
Not at all. It's all, I'm doing it all alone.
Okay.
On my own.
Mr. Loang, you know, there are dialects and traditions in Arunachal Pradesh that are in the endangered list of UNESCO. Okay. What, according to you, is need of the hour, to protect these extincting dialects in the state?
The best way to preserve one's culture or language would be to cut off the influence of foreign culture. But in this modern era, such thing is not possible, next to impossible. So therefore, the best alternative would be to set up a government center dedicated for every endangered dialect language and teach them in schools, either if they have their script, in their script or in Romanesque language. But it should be taught as one of the main subjects and not just like a mere extracurricular activity. Like it should matter in their percentage, in their main result. And in this way, I think slowly we can teach our children, our next generation about our language and like this.
So what kind of response are you getting from the public?
When I opened the website, then the public response was good, but it was not like the one that I received after I inaugurated the digital library. After inaugurating the digital library, formally in the presence of district library officer, then I received lots of positive response from our local MLAs, assistant professors, and every other bureaucrats also. The response was very positive, sir.
So any kind of appeal to the government or the authorities so that they can help you in, sustaining things, or though not sustaining it, in collecting more materials like this for public.
And the most important thing would be to, of course, ask some fund from them so that I can keep my work running. But that is for me a secondary matter. The first matter for me is to retrieve the books that I have seen that is in the archives of foreign libraries, such as Britain, America. There I have seen that the books written on the Nocte tribe by Miles Johnson in their archives. So I don't have access to them. And also I have seen many documents from the 1940s, 1920s related to the Nocte tribe. I want to have access on them, but unfortunately I have limited access. So my appeal would be to the government would be to give me access to those documents and books.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That means you mean to say that those documents are with the state government or with archive department?
Yeah. And also
in foreign countries also?
Yeah. Especially the book written by Miles Johnson. It is in University of Pennsylvania. I've searched it,
Mm-hmm.
And there's another book which is in Britain, also by Miles Johnson. It's scattered all over there. So I want to have access to them. So my appeal to the government is this one.
Thank you, Mr. Loang, for being with us and informing us about your initiative to sensitize people about the Nocte tribe. Thank you very much.
Manipur is a multi-ethnic state located at the easternmost part of India. More than 30 recognized tribes are there in the state, and each community has their own distinct identity, including culture, folk song, music, lifestyles and festivals. There are some tribes whose population is less than 1,000 and the Tarao tribe is among them. In today's episode, our Imphal correspondent brings you a story of a Tarao village in a remote district of the state, which is the only surviving member of its community that can play and make Tarao traditional musical instruments and has the knowledge of the traditional folk songs. Here we go.
In his late 60s, the chief of Haikakpupi village in Tengnoupal district of Manipur is being haunted by persistent worry of the culture, traditional music instruments and folk song of his tribe vanishing with his passing away. His moral obligation is no longer confined to the villagers of Haikakpupi only, but to the whole of Tarao people. He has become the only surviving member of his community who can play and make Tarao traditional musical instruments and know the folk song. Tarao tribe is an endangered and marginalized tribe with a population of less than 900 presently. The UNESCO in 2009 had declared the Tarao language, among others, as extinct, and over the years, Tarao, with a meager population distributed sparsely, have been struggling to preserve their identity. This tribe has 14 traditional musical instruments. All of them have their different uses. Moreover, Tarao tribe has rich culture and tradition with 20 dance forms, around 125 different songs, 30 patterns of traditional attire, and around 19 ornaments for both men and women. Now, all of these items associated with the culture have either vanished or are slowly dying out. The younger generation of Tarao tribes are seen less interested in the preserving or reviving their cultural ethos, which made Lamta Chao the only person in his tribe to know traditional instrument and music as on date. While interacting with AIR News, Lamta Chao expressed his deep sorrows over the vanishing of Tarao culture with the passing days and sadness that the youths of today are having no interest in Tarao culture and tradition. Even at the age of late 60s, he is visiting village to village trying to teach the youths. He said,
My name is C.H. Lamta Chao from Haikakpupi village. My father was a traditional healer and he treated patients. When I was a child, my father sang various songs when he was drunk. I learned songs from him. There are various folk songs of Tarao tribe. Also, we have around 19 types of music and I can play all of them. When I sang the song, I vividly remember the culture and the traditions of our tribe who were practiced by our forefathers. I love my culture and the traditions. I try to teach to youths, but they never took interest. I visit village to village to teach the music and the folk songs of Tarao. Now, I am old, and how long I can visit them, I don't know. I always thought how our younger generation would be motivated to take interest in our culture and the tradition which our forefathers proudly followed in the past.
In a bid to give the much-needed trust to preserve Tarao culture, Tarao Cultural Committee has already formed and they are actively putting effort to organize training come workshop for the traditional instruments and music so that the youth can learn now that Lamta Chao is the only person left. However, the sad part is that in the past, the youths did not turn up even when the teacher was ready, thus bringing their own culture near extinction. JJ Thoksom from Imphal for AIR News, Northeast Diary.
And now here are some interesting facts about the Northeast. Digboy in Assam has the Asian's oldest oil refinery. Monling Nong in Meghalaya is the cleanest village of Asia. With that, we have come to the end of this edition of Northeast Diary. Do join us next week to hear more stories from this enchanting part of India. Bye-bye.